Welcome back to Fireside Football, everybody. I'm Zack,
And I'm Bill.
and we're here to discuss the crazy divisional weekend of the NFL. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. Did you enjoy it as much as I did?
I did. It was the best weekend of football I could have had. It was really great.
Every single game came down to the last play. It was nuts.
It's crazy how it's just every single game made me want more football it made me upset that we're almost over. It really did.
When we got to after every game, I was like, there's no way the next game is going to be as good as that one. Or
and they all kept getting better. Yeah. Every single one kept getting better. Really incredible.
They just one-upped each other. It was a dream come true. It was everything we could have possibly asked for. So let's go through these games. The first one was the number 1 seeded Titans, performing like we thought they would perform all year. They choked it away at the end, and the Bengals stole it from them, and now they're going to the AFC Championship game. So did this game surprise you at all? I know you picked the Bengals to win this one.
No, it's kind of exactly how I thought it would go. I mean, the Bengals would come out, have a bunch of opportunities to win the game, and then somehow pull it out in the end.
I mean, they sacked him 9 times.
Yeah.
My God.
They got after him a lot. They gotta fix that. You know what I mean? Especially because he just got hurt real bad last season. It was a torn ACL and MCL, right? Midway last season.
And he got a little banged up towards the end of the year too.
Yeah, he had to miss the last game.
So they need to get that fixed. Otherwise, the Bengals are extremely explosive, and I do think they have a shot against the Chiefs this week. Moving on to the Packers-Niners game. I could not believe that the Packers won, or the Packers lost this game. I mean, they had everything going for them, probably their best team in years. Such a well-balanced football team, and then they lose to a kind of a beat-up Niners team at home. What did you make of this one?
The whole time I was watching it, and I was like, well, I mean, the Packers are going to win. Come on, like the Packers are going to win. And the 49ers blocked that punt, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now? That's like really the moment where it's set in like, wow, they're really about to do this right now. One and done on Rodgers last year, maybe, but probably I would say. It's incredible that it was against the freaking 49ers too, once more. And the whole thing about Rodgers saying that the 49ers would be so upset they didn't draft, which they probably are still, but it's just hilarious that he's continually lost to them in the playoffs. Really, I don't know. I didn't really want either team to win, but I think I just like watching the Packers go down in flames. It was pretty enjoyable.
It was satisfying. I mean, I don't hate the Packers, but it's like enough is enough. You've been good for like almost 35 years. You've been competitive and one of the powerhouses of the NFL. And plus, I just love it when curses persist and the Packers cannot get past the 49ers. And I just think it's so funny that this is how it ends probably for this era of Packers football, because they are in cap hell.
Yeah. On the last drive, Rodgers' last throw to Davante Adams, I think he had 2 guys. Well, he had 1 guy at least wide open. I think another guy was open. The guy was wide open. It was like 25 yards down the field. Yeah, he just said, well, if this is my last throw, I'm gonna fucking YOLO into Davante Adams.
Fuck it.
And it was like a Madden animation. You know what I mean? Where he dove for it and then didn't get it.
Yeah. Rodgers, this does not do much for his to change the narrative about him not performing in the playoffs. He's time and time again shown that he's just not a playoff quarterback for whatever reason. Because you can't be the MVP of the league and then come out there against, honestly, a Niners defense that is not good in the secondary. They have a very bad secondary. I've watched the Niners teams all year.
Line is just they're really good at the defensive line.
That's true, but that secondary was ripe to be exploited, and the Packers could not do it. And you'd expect your MVP,
Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And he's not like a statue. He can evade some pressure and stuff. So it's crazy that they only put up 10 points. Moving on to a game that had a lot more than 10 points. The Rams looked like they were going to pull away and run away with it for a while. And then Tom Brady almost 28-3'd it, but couldn't quite get it done.
This game it is really almost exactly how I thought it would go. I didn't think they would come back that much, but I really thought the Rams would go up big because, you know, Tom couldn't handle the pressure right up in his face in 2-3 seconds, which I don't think a lot of quarterbacks can do. Maybe Russell Wilson can like get out of there. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not an easy thing to do. And that defensive line from the Rams, oh my goodness, are they good with Aaron Donald and Von Miller and then Jalen Ramsey. I mean, Jalen Ramsey got toasted at the end of the game by Mike Evans. Like, how does that happen? But Jalen Ramsey is the best quarterback in the league and he's a ball hog. That defense, and we'll get to the games, but I think that defense is for real and can win them a championship. But, you know, as Tom does, Tom came back into the fucking game. He really got them back in. And I hate to say it, but it really wasn't him. It was the Rams had an interception, right? Or maybe it was a fumble or something. The very next play, Matthew Stafford has a snap go right over his head. Inexcusable. You know what I mean? That kind of turnover is inexcusable. Then right before the half, you had Cam Akers fumble at the 1 yard line. How does that happen? You know what I mean? And he fumbles on the last drive too, where I think it would have been like 3rd and 1 to steal the game for the first down. He freaking fumbled. It's just they shot themselves in the foot so many times, and the Buccaneers just decided not to cover Cooper Kupp, and the game was over.
Yeah, so like all those mistakes and wacky turnovers, I felt like that was a theme through pretty much all the games except for the Chiefs-Bills game. Like there were so many times where something crazy would happen and then I'd sit there and be like, well, it looks like this is over, and then the other team would just throw it back to the team that just gave it away, and it like this crazy shit just kept happening, and these teams were like one-upping each other on who could like give the game away the most. But yeah, the Rams really tried to not go to the NFC Championship. They pulled out all the stops. They fumbled, I think, like 4 times. And then Tom Brady just capitalized on all of it. I mean, you're right. It's not like he played offense and defense and made all this scoring happen. He just capitalized on the Rams trying to give the game away. And they didn't, because Cooper Kupp is a monster. And I don't know, like you said, I don't know what the Bucs defense was doing.
They had 1,900 some yards this year, and you're just not going to cover them.
It'll be fine. We'll just, we don't need to do that. So that was pretty stupid, but we saved the best for last. Also, the NFL did. The Chiefs best the Bills in an overtime thriller.
Boy. What a game.
Was one of the best games I've ever seen.
It was maybe like the last 3 minutes is the best football, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Like the last 3 minutes, how it was like, I'm pretty sure the Bills with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left or something like that had a 4th and 12. They were down like 6. And then I put them up. And then I think like 4 more touchdowns happened or something. Like something insane like that.
Dude, it was insane. Because when the Bills scored that, when they were on 4th and 12, I'm thinking, well, this is probably it. Like, you're not going to get a 4th and 12.
And the corner gets his ankles absolutely destroyed on the round. How's that happen?
He got sniped. There's someone in the stands. But yeah, then they get that touchdown, and then there's still like 2 minutes left. So I'm like, oh, Patrick Mahomes has got this. And yeah, he had that. Tyreek Hill, I believe, had that long touchdown. And then I'm thinking, it's probably over, but you know, the Bills still have their timeouts. They can probably do it. And then they go and do it. And then there's 13 seconds left.
I shit you not. The commentators were acting like it's over. And I was sitting there like, we've seen Patrick Mahomes do this so many times. I'm pretty sure in the AFC Championship game where we beat them in the first overtime, we went down, we scored the first drive, and then we went and beat the Rams. That AFC Championship game, I don't know. I think we had like 24 seconds on the clock, something like that. And they had no timeouts or something. And they fucking got a field goal on us and sent it to overtime, but we won. So it's how did nobody expect that? I was sitting there and I was like, I think they're gonna get a field goal. This is Patrick fucking Mahomes. Like he's just gonna figure it out. He usually
does. They had all 3 timeouts too. So you have 2 plays to get what, 40 yards, and this is
Yeah.
the Chiefs offense that we're talking about.
And you
Like,
just
that's
don't
feasible.
guard Travis Kelce in the slot. Like, what?
First, they were playing like
it's a bold strategy, Cotton, and it did not pay off for you.
they were playing like 15 yards off of him, so you allow him to get so much momentum, and he's a fast tight end. So
Yeah.
all he needs to do is catch it in stride, and he could probably turn that 15 yards into 25, which is what he did. And then lo and behold, field goal range, overtime, you lose the coin toss, and there's no stopping Mahomes.
Tails. Who the fuck calls tails? Everybody knows Super Bowl champions call heads.
Is
Just
that
saying,
a thing?
only time in OT for the Super Bowl, Matthew Slater called heads, and we won the Super Bowl. All I'm trying to say. 1 for 1. 1 for 1 heads.
But man, like I know you hate the Bills because they're in your division, but like I really felt for the Bills there, because like at least their offense, like you did everything right. You performed so admirably. Josh Allen played out of his goddamn mind. Like that was one of the best quarterback games I've ever seen. Yeah. Josh Allen had one of the best playoff runs I've ever seen, and he only played 2 games. I think they said that the NFL record for touchdowns in a postseason was 11. Josh Allen had 9 in 2 games. So it's, I mean,
to be fair, they scored a touchdown every single time they touched the ball against
that's your fault though.
Man, I think the worst defensive performance I've ever seen. Before that, the worst defensive performance I've ever seen was when we played the 49ers in 2020. It was terrible. It was like they caught 5-yard passes and we all got pancaked and they made it into 20 yards every time. But that, I mean, I think we at least stopped them once. It's incredible how terribly we played. We had guys hurt. We had practice squad players out there, but come on, that was terrible for us. Anyway, getting sidetracked here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my point is you can't ask your franchise quarterback to play any better than he did, and you still couldn't get it done. And that hurts because, I mean, look at the Joe Flacco Ravens Super Bowl season. Like if Joe Flacco doesn't play out of his mind, they don't win that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen was channeling that, although I think Josh Allen is absolutely a much better quarterback than Flacco ever was. Like Josh Allen was channeling that Super Bowl heroics. Like this is the magical run that we need. And they still couldn't do it. And now you've just wasted a year. So that sucks for Bills fans.
It especially sucks because now I had Josh Allen's contract last year, but now it's like you're stuck with it. I mean, you're stuck with a $45 million quarterback, and it's a good one. Like you're happy you have him, but it's not easy. It's not easy winning a Super Bowl with a quarterback with that big of a cap hit. I don't think it's been done, or it's only been done, I think 3 times in the past 20 years, if I had to get a loose estimate. It really barely happens. Because it's that's the beauty of the NFL, because it's the most team sport there is, and I
absolutely.
fucking love it.
Absolutely. On a side note, it's got to be rough to be Browns fans and have to watch Josh Allen have it become what he is now, and like you're sitting there with
Giants fans. What about Giants fans what a terrible pick to take a fucking running back when, first of all, you don't have a good offensive line. Second of all, you don't have a quarterback at all. And you take a running back where, if you get him out in space, he's incredible. I still think Saquon Barkley is the best player out in space, but they did that for a year because Eli Manning dumped it off and he was incredible. But then they stopped. They stopped that and he got hurt. I'll give you that. He got hurt. But like, what are you doing? What are you doing drafting a player like that, not using him right, and just not taking the fucking quarterback? I feel like everybody knew the Jets could take a fucking quarterback there. And they just didn't do it. Which, like, I wonder what Saquon Barkley's career would be like if he was on the Browns, man. I think it would be he'd be on track to be one of the best running backs of all time, because that offensive line is damn
true.
Depends on how much he got hurt.
Yeah, if he could stay healthy, he would have a much better career. So those are all the games.
We talk about overtime. You have like a blurb to talk about overtime, or should we talk?
Yeah, we can talk about overtime. Do you think that they should change the rules for at least the postseason overtime, or what? What's your feeling on that?
I think they should change the rules for all overtime, and I have two of my favorite ways. The first one, it's definitely my favorite. Just 10-minute quarter. You play to the end of the quarter. At the end of the quarter, that's the final score. If it's a tie, you restart with a brand new quarter. You kick off and everything. The second one, I really like that one because game management is such a big deal in an NFL game. And I feel like you have to be able to manage the game in overtime. It would change everything and would really let coaching be a part of overtime, which I think is huge. And the other way, which I think would be the more popular way, is if the first team scores a touchdown, the second team has an opportunity to match. But if that team matches with a touchdown, they have to go for 2. So it's either game's over or you win.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that one before. I've heard a lot of people saying, look, the Bills should have got a chance. And like, okay, let's explore that. Say the Bills do get a chance and then they match it and it's sudden death all of a sudden. Like, the Chiefs are just going to go and score.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway. And then what do people want? Just continual matching, like drives, like college overtime. Let's drive. It feels like, I don't know. I just don't like that.
I don't like it either. I like your first point. Like, that's probably what I would do too. Just 10-minute quarter. Whoever's winning at the end of it, that's it. That's the game.
Yeah, because that's how you play football. That's how you play a football game. Let's play overtime like a football game. I think it would make everybody happier.
Yeah, I think that's the ideal solution. All right. So it's that time of year again, and I think this is the most noise that there's ever been about Tom Brady potentially retiring. You watched this man as your quarterback for 17, 18 years?
Long
so
time. Very long time.
So what do you think as a former Tom Brady fanboy? Do you think he's done?
There is zero chance that Tom Brady retires. Look at me. Zero chance that Tom retires, especially because when he was 35, he made a big deal about wanting to play when he was 45 and saying that he was going to be doing it at a high level. Being able to play his year 45 season, I really think means a lot to him. And he just loves the game too much. I really don't think he will retire until he goes out there and he lays an egg, or if he wins the Super Bowl the next 2 years. Like, I really think he's going to play next year. He's going to play well. And if they don't win the Super Bowl, he's going to come back. And then I think he's going to play bad and then retire after he plays bad. I can't imagine him retiring when he's doing well. I mean, he has a chance to set unbreakable records, even with the an extra game in the future. These records that he has right now, to extend them for another year, get that 17-game season on there. I think he wants it. You know what I mean? Because then he could probably be the greatest ever forever. And that probably means a big deal to him.
I mean, you just watch him chuck that 55-yard bomb to Mike Evans, and it's
when he got fucking roasted. When he roasted Jalen Ramsey, I could not believe that. How does that happen? How does that freaking happen, Jalen Ramsey? You're the best corner in the NFL, and you get absolutely burned on a streak because your team believed in you to play man-on-man on Mike Evans because the other side kept beating them. It's crazy. It's crazy how he got destroyed like that.
Yeah, but it's like, this is a 44-year-old man who's still, I mean, he doesn't have a cannon, but he can make that throw, as he just showed us. And he's 44. He's led the league in passing yards, I think touchdowns. This guy easily could come back for another year. I think it's just about whether his family is going to pressure him not to come back. But screw that, Tom. You should just come back. screw your family. And then he should play until he's 50, because I really want to see a 50-year-old quarterback.
That would be fun.
That would be crazy. I don't think it won't happen, but that'd be insane.
Tom Brady becomes a punter, punts for 5 years.
Yes. He could probably do it too. All right, and the other kind of the downtime news for the teams that didn't make the playoffs, the big news would be coaching hires, and there have been 3 so far. We have Matt Eberflus to the Bears, Brian Daboll to the Giants, and Nathaniel Hackett to the Broncos. So we're gonna go through all 3 of those, starting with Matt Eberflus to the Bears. And I have a lot to say about this, as Matt Eberflus was the Colts defensive coordinator. I just think it's interesting, and let me know if you disagree. I think it's interesting that the Bears have a young quarterback and they opted to go with a defensive-minded head coach, because in today's NFL, they could find a good offensive coordinator that would work really well with Justin Fields, but in today's NFL, that offensive coordinator, if he does do a good job, he's going to get poached within a year or two. So
Yeah.
I think it might have been more wise to go offensive-minded head coach and then pair him with Justin Fields and hopefully kind of establish that Sean Payton, Drew Brees kind of dynamic for years to come. But what do you think?
You know, one time I heard Michael Irvin say, teams always want to win the Super Bowl how they've won in the past. And every time I think about it, every time I go like, why would you hire that guy? I'm like, wow, yeah, that's probably why. You know what I mean? It's probably like, wow, we're Chicago. We're built on the defense. Let's just carry that mentality because that's what the fans want to see, I guess. I don't think so. But I think that just sometimes owners try to force things because that's just, I guess they want to, they think it'll sell tickets or whatever. And I really think that's kind of what happened here.
It makes sense. I mean, why else would you do it? Also, like, let's go into the hire itself. Matt Eberflus, solid defensive coordinator.
It feels like you guys have a really good defensive line that, you know, probably helped a lot.
I'm like getting there. I'm getting there.
They have the best defense in the league, and he gets hired as a head coach. Like, I mean, he didn't mess. They weren't even that good though, so he did kind of mess it up anyway.
I'm getting there. He's solid, but he's not great. I think during his tenure, he's not great specifically with passing defense. He takes forever to make adjustments for whatever reason. Like we didn't start really playing a lot of man coverage until the Jets hung 31 on us and with their fourth string quarterback. Like that was the epiphany that apparently he needed to start incorporating more man coverage into the defense. But he doesn't really make adjustments. His scheme is really simple. And it gives up such a high completion percentage, especially to quarterbacks who aren't like hot garbage. So like Drew Brees, we played the Saints like 2-3 years ago. He incompleted one pass the entire game. He threw one incompletion, Bill. One fucking incompletion.
Oh my goodness.
Russell Wilson, earlier the first game of this year, absolutely torched us. I think he had his like second highest quarterback rating of his career. You look at the last game of the season, Trevor Lawrence, dude averages, I think, like a sub 60% completion percentage this whole year. I think he's over 70 when he plays the Colts in that game.
Jones played well for half of a game against your defense.
He played well for like a quarter. But yeah, it's kind of inexcusable, and I was getting tired of it. So I'm not upset that he's gone. I'm kind of happy that we're going to get a new shot to find a defense coordinator who maybe makes adjustments and plays tighter man. But yeah, it's a little puzzling. I didn't expect him to go to the Bears. I thought maybe Jacksonville, which also doesn't make sense, but I would have just gone offensive quarterback, offensive head coach.
Yeah, you took Justin Fields. You gave up a first-round pick in the future for him. Come on, invest more in the kid. Like
exactly. Like I get that you won your Super Bowls with defense, but that was 40 years ago in the 80s. Like the NFL is very different. Brian Daboll, Bill's offensive coordinator, I believe, is now the New York Giants head coach. What do you think about this hire, Bill?
I really like this hire because I think the Giants, I mean, they have a lot of good skill players. And I think I just feel like, I mean, a lot of it's probably Josh Allen, but the Bills have been really good at spreading the ball around. And that's what you want to do when you have a lot of like good skill players, because just put them in space, let them make moves and get those big plays that you want. The issue is they don't have a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, so everything could go up in flames for Brian Daboll because what are you going to do? I mean, I can't even think of their quarterback's name. What's his name? Got hurt last year.
Daniel Jones.
I mean, he looked laughably bad in the offseason. Like everybody was saying that he sucked. I mean, he looked okay his rookie year. People made an exaggeration about how good he was, and he looked not good his second year. And I think if you're Brian Daboll, you need to convince your GM to trade for Russell Wilson, because that is it. That is how you become a Super Bowl contender, because this would be, I think, a top 10 offense with Russell Wilson. I mean, he doesn't have a great offensive line, but Russell Wilson's good at making stuff happen. You know what I mean? You got these weapons like Kenny Galladay. Russell Wilson's good at throwing jump balls. You know what I mean? That's Kenny Galladay's thing. I really think that Russell Wilson would be such, I mean, obviously such a game changer, but especially for the Giants, especially because he wants to be in New York, and they really need to make it happen. I think they'll try, but I just feel like they won't offer enough.
I agree with you. I like the hire for the Giants. I don't know if I would have gone to the Giants if I were Brian Daboll, just because of the uncertainty at quarterback. But if you can swing a Russell Wilson trade, that changes everything. And suddenly, like, he looks like a genius. This is a great fit. But it all hinges on that, if they can get Russell Wilson, because I don't care how good of an offensive coordinator you are. When you have Josh Allen, you're going to look probably better than you are. And when you have Daniel Jones, you're going to look worse than you are. So
could you imagine if they sign Mitch Trubisky and Mitch Trubisky actually looks good and wins the starting job for the year after? That would be one of the craziest things to happen in a while.
That would be. Don't think it'll happen, but
I think they'll sign him at least as a backup or to help push Daniel Jones if they can't get anybody, because I think he kind of likes him. I think that's why he signed him in Buffalo.
What if Brian Daboll is like, there's only one guy I want, and his name is Trace McSorley?
I would love that. I would love that. Trace would be incredible on the Giants because he has such great weapons, and he was always good at making his best players look better. And if you have that many good players, I really think it would be perfect. But I don't know. Teams, I guess they have a stigma on his arm strength, or he hasn't really been a free agent. He was benched by the Ravens for 2 years, so we'll see where he lands. Maybe he'll have at least a backup job next year where you could get in if they get hurt. He really should have been the Ravens backup. I can't believe they went Brett Hundley, and everybody loves Brett Hundley, but he can't throw the damn ball. Like, he's really good at evading pressure and running the ball and buying time for his receivers, which I guess, I underrated Russell Wilson for that. And Russell Wilson became, I think, a better passer throughout his career, so I guess he could do that. But I don't see it. I think they're gonna give him a tender, and some team's gonna be stupid and pay a second round pick to get him. It's gonna be so stupid. But anyway, on from my Huntley rant.
All right, the last coaching hire that has been announced so far, Nathaniel Hackett, the Packers offensive coordinator, has gone to the Broncos. What do you think about this one?
So, I mean, they're going to trade for Aaron Rodgers, right? That's got to be the entire reason they signed him as their head coach. Why won't you go sign? I just don't think their offense has been that great because of coaching. You know what I mean? The Packers, it just feels like the Chiefs offensive coordinator, or even the freaking Ravens offensive coordinator, to try to get something happening. Ravens offensive coordinator to freaking sign Brent Hundley. You know what I mean? I feel like that's something that a team would do to try to at least replicate success. I feel like the only place that Brent Hundley, I'm back to fucking Brent Hundley, here I go, that he would have success is in the Ravens system, because they're so good at being good with a running quarterback. So I just feel like that if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, this is a huge loss for the Broncos. I'm sorry. I really do think that.
I mean, it feels to me like when Peyton Manning was all like, oh, Adam Gase is such a good coach. He's such a good coach. I loved him as my offensive coordinator. It's like, Peyton, man, he had nothing to do with your success. Like, you were the offensive coordinator. Like, all Adam Gase had to do was like rub your shoulders a little bit. Be like, you did a good job out there, Pepe. And that's what I think this guy, Nathaniel Hackett, might have done with Aaron Rodgers. He just got Aaron Rodgers on his side so that Aaron Rodgers would vouch for him. And yeah, I think that they must be trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers, because it seems a little too suspiciously convenient that the Broncos have been tied to trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers for like a year now, and all of a sudden they hire his offensive coordinator that he loves. It's
gonna happen. Yeah. I have a feeling that Rodgers might be a dick about it too, and be like, I'm not going unless you trade nothing. Like, unless the Broncos trade nothing for me. Like, they trade like a second, and I don't know. Who could they give them? A second?
Does he have a no trade
or something like that?
Does he have a no trade clause?
I don't know, but he could always just retire. Remember Jake Plummer did that? Remember when they traded? They traded him? The Broncos traded Jake Plummer to the goddamn Buccaneers, where John Gruden was the coach, and he was like, "No, I'm not playing football there." And he just freaking retired. That was hilarious when that happened. So that'd be funny if that happened here.
let's explore like an Aaron Rodgers trade theoretically. What would you give up for Aaron Rodgers? Because I'm not so sure this guy has more than like 1 year 1 year left by the way he keeps talking. It doesn't sound like he wants to commit to anything beyond like maybe 1 more year.
If you're a Super Bowl contender, you give at least a first round pick for Aaron Rodgers. You really do. You know what I mean? Like if Tom Brady retires, the Buccaneers are shipping their first round pick immediately for Aaron Rodgers, trying to fucking roll it over again, win another Super Bowl with Rodgers, and then just be terrible because then they push the cap more. I'm pretty sure they've been pushing it down the line for Brady. So maybe they do that. They kind of do what the Saints did this year. Just go, we're not in debt. Next year we're in debt.
Would you give up more than 1 first round pick for Aaron Rodgers if you were the Broncos?
If I got a second back this year, yeah, but that's the only way. I don't think you can give up 2 first round picks and not get some kind of pick back.
I agree with you. Like, especially if it's just a 1 year thing. Like, I'm gonna need at least like 3. I think 3 years if I'm gonna give up more than 1 first.
It'd be hilarious if it was the Broncos. The Broncos, I don't know, go 8-9, miss the playoffs. They cut him, and he goes and sides with the Vikings. That I want that outcome so bad. I want it to happen so bad.
That'd be great. That'd be freaking fantastic.
Man, I would love it. It would be. It would just. I don't even know how to describe it. It would be incredible.
Poetry in motion. All right, let's get into the predictions. I did not have a good week last week. I went 0-4. You went
4-0, undefeated.
But to be fair, any one of those games could have gone the other way. I just got really unlucky. There's only 2 this week, as the nature of the playoffs. So let's start with the AFC Championship. We have the Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs.
I want to pick the Bengals. I want to pick the Bengals so bad, Zach. It's so bad. I'll be rooting so hard for the Bengals too, just to beat the Chiefs. But I don't think it's gonna happen. It feels like the Bengals should have blown everybody out, and they barely won. And I think they lose by like 10, 17 points. I don't think it's necessarily close. And then the goddamn Chiefs are in the Super Bowl again.
I agree with literally everything you just said. I want them to win so badly. I love Joe Burrow. I think they're such an exciting offense.
I love Jamar Chase, man. Jamar Chase is oh incredible. My God. Yeah. Every time I watch him, he makes a play where I'm just like, this guy's amazing.
That fucking screen where he like caught it on the right and had 2 Titans defenders a yard in front of him, and he just cuts around him and runs for like 30 yards. Like, nobody else makes that play. No one else makes that play. It's insane. It's insane. That being said, I think the Bengals are going to get absolutely destroyed. Yeah. It just feels like they're not ready yet, I feel like, and it's kind of a miracle that they've made it this far. I expected them to win a playoff game. I didn't think they'd get to the AFC Championship though. So I mean, they can hang their hat on that. They outperformed their expectations, but I don't see them beating this Chiefs team. Especially watching the way Patrick Mahomes played last week. I mean, the Bills have a far better defense than the Bengals. I don't see how the Bengals stop Patrick Mahomes.
The Bengals have built a team almost exactly the opposite you want to, with your skill players first, and you go, fuck the defense and the offensive line. That shit doesn't matter.
Fuck it. Exactly. And the Chiefs are more balanced and more Well, you could argue they're more explosive because
it's just Patrick Mahomes. The guy can make any throw at any time during the game. I mean, he's not always perfect, but he can be. That's the scary part, is he can be perfect at any moment, and Tyreek Hill can just score a 99-yard touchdown on you, and you'd be like, fuck.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, too bad. Like, there's not really anything
to do about that. Playing the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to the second game, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Los Angeles Rams. Third time these teams are going to be meeting this year. The Niners won the last 2. Can they win this one?
I want the Rams to win. I do, and I praise their defensive line, and I think their defensive line's gonna get after. They're gonna make plays. there's something about the Rams. The Rams like losing games. I don't know how to describe it. They like getting up, having their party, thinking they're gonna win the game, and then they go, oh, you guys want us to make you think you're gonna come back, and then they lose. And I think that's gonna happen. It's gonna be basically a home game for the 49ers because nobody in LA actually cares about going to games ever. Yeah. And it's so goddamn close to San Francisco. Of course it's gonna be a home game. And I think the 49ers win by 3 points.
So do you want the Rams to win because you think that they have a chance to stop the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Is that why you want them to win?
That and I don't want all of my 49er fans to be happy that they won a Super Bowl.
That's fair. I feel it though. Like what's the saying that the 49ers say? Same old sorry ass Rams or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to pick the Niners, but I don't think I can. I just feel like the Rams are too talented to lose to the Niners 3 times. I mean, surely they can't lose again, right? Surely they can't lose again.
You look at the teams and you go, of course the Rams are going to win. I think they shit the game away at the end. I really do. It's just going to be it's going to be ugly. And
all right, I'm going to pick the Rams.
Fire somebody, honestly, if it happens.
I'm going to pick the Rams just so that we have one different game. I'm not 100% confident in the pick, but I'm pulling for the Niners, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't think they have enough talent, and the Rams middle name is talent. It's just like you said, can they not shoot themselves in the foot?
They got a free Odell Beckham Jr. halfway through the season.
Yeah, they did. And they got a discounted Von Miller too. I feel like every fucking player who's discontent with their situation just ends up on the Rams. It's like if Patrick Mahomes threw a bitch fit, would he end up on the Rams too?
That would be crazy. Sorry, Matt. You're hitting the bench.
Yeah. It's like that meme with the dude looking back at the other girl.
That's totally Sean McVay.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Patrick Mahomes. All right, so it's time for our top 32 wide receivers. Last week we did the top 40 QBs, and this week we're going to rank just the top 32 receivers. Obviously, there's 64 starting wide receivers in the NFL, but that's just too much. So we're going to do the top, let me get the window up here. Chrome tab. Top 32 wide receivers. Here's the tab. I'm going to actually make this. Whoops.
It's getting crazy.
We'll do it like this. So I'll start. We'll start with the bottom from 32, and we'll go upwards.
All right.
Let me break out my list real quick.
Come on. There we go.
All right. So coming in at 32, I have the absolute immature son of a bitch, Chase Claypool. I hate the guy, but he's very talented. He's a big body receiver who can get up and make contested catches. I'm not sure he's going to be throwing him the ball next year, but I think he's a really good receiver who could develop into a number 1 option for the Steelers.
I am going to go at number 32. I'm trying to see if I should pull somebody down on here. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go Devontae Smith with the Eagles. I think he has incredible route running ability, and I think it's just going to be apparent during his career and next year especially.
All right, at number 31, I have Amari Cooper, and my reasoning for this is I think he's on the decline. I think he's going to essentially start. I think he is the Cowboys' number 2 receiver now, because CeeDee Lamb has taken over the number 1 spot, and he didn't have the same production this year. I think he might have been banged up a little bit, and also he's got CeeDee Lamb on the other side. But I think not being a number 1 receiver hurts you on this list, so I have him at 31.
Okay, at 31, I had another receiver. I actually took him out here to pull this man up. Don't know if he deserves it, but I'm giving him benefit of the doubt for next year. Allen Robinson. I think he's got another year in him, and I think he's going to sign for a team. Maybe he's going to go cheap to the Chiefs or something, and I think it's gonna work out at least for one more year with him.
I'd be so pissed off if he went to the Chiefs. Like they literally don't need anything else. It wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
It would start being like the Warriors a few years ago, when they got DeMarcus Cousins, and we all like lost our minds because we thought he was going to be great.
Boogie Cousins.
Boogie Cousins. All right, at number 30, I have the rookie Amon-Ra St. Brown. I admittedly didn't watch much of this guy because, like, why would I subject myself to Lions games? But he really picked it up towards the end of the year. I think he had a string of like a lot of good games, and he was doing it with patchwork quarterbacks. Jared Goff is not someone I would want to throw me the ball if I were a receiver. So I think it was a very promising rookie year for Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god.
The next player, number 30 on my list, I don't know if I know how to spell his last name, but it is Hunter Renfrow.
I think there's a W at the end of that.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, and I think he's going to be making big money in the future.
For sure. He's like a Wes Welker, Julian Edelman kind of dude, except less hair. Dude is balding. He needs to just shave the rest of it off. At number 29, I have Devonta Smith.
Nice.
I was a little uncertain about this pick at the time when the Eagles made it, just because you had all the, well, he's only like 160 pounds soaking wet. Is he going to be able to take the punishment of the NFL game? And he had a really good rookie year. One of the best rookie receivers in the NFL. Not the best, obviously, because we all know who that was. But I think the Eagles should be happy with their pick here.
Next up at 29, I got Julio Jones. Oh no, Julio Jones. You know, I mean, Julio had a bad year last year. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen the Julio Jones. But again, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I still believe Julio, and I think he's going to have a better season next year.
Julio, 1 touchdown, Jones. Okay, at number 28, I have the Cardinals' number 2 receiver, Christian Kirk. I think he just does everything you want a receiver to do, opposite of like DeAndre Hopkins. And I think he almost had 1,000 yards. I believe he had 900 something. But he's a free agent too, I think. So who knows? Maybe he goes somewhere and either sinks or swims. Maybe he'll have a better year and he'll kind of stamp his ticket into being one of the top 20 receivers, or maybe he'll show that, yeah, it's pretty nice to have DeAndre Hopkins on the other side.
At number 28, I have Mike Williams of the not San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, I've believed in the guy's talent for a while, but I've seen him drop a bunch of balls throughout his career. So it's a toss-up. Sometimes he makes great plays, sometimes he doesn't. But I still think he deserves to be on our list. So I put him at 28.
Okay. At 27, I have had a bit of a down year, but I still believe in his talent. Portland, if I can spell, Sutton. And he'll especially bounce back if he gets Aaron Rodgers on his team.
Yep.
I mean, he has all the talent in the world. He's a big body receiver. He can go up and get the ball, just like Chase Claypool, but he's not a douchebag. I really like Cortland Sutton. I would love to have him on my team. And he could definitely be higher on this list next year if he has a bounce back year.
Yeah. At number 27, I have Kenny G. So smooth. Kenny Golladay. I really believe in Kenny Golladay. The Giants offense was just a giant dumpster fire this year, and not much even happened for any wide receivers. So, I mean, last season, at least he got paid. You know what I mean? I think once he gets a quarterback, especially if they get Russell Wilson, he's going to people are gonna be like, wow, yeah, Kenny Galladay is like this good.
Perhaps we'll have to wait and see. As of right now, it doesn't look too hot though. 26 we have on my side, Hollywood Brown.
Wow, Marquise Brown.
Yeah, he's #1 receiver for the Ravens. I think he's a good, not great receiver. I think he's probably more of a #2. Is like his natural fit, but he can make explosive plays. He had a good game against the Colts when we played them. And I respect Hollywood Brown. He's got a killer nickname too.
All right. At number 26, I have Jerry Jeudy. Hasn't done exactly what people thought he would at the beginning of his career, but I still think he's got a lot of talent. You know, great route runner like Devontae Smith. I think he deserves to be a #1 receiver.
He has the talent. He needs to put it together. Number 25, I have Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Mooney
had a surprisingly good year. I mean, honestly, I hadn't heard of him until this year, but he put up stats. I think in Allen Robinson's absence, good solid year for Darnell Mooney. I don't know too much about him, admittedly, but he's gonna sit here at number 25 on my list. And hopefully he can keep it going in years to come.
At number 25, we have number 26's teammate, Courtland Sutton. A lot of what you said, you know, I think Courtland Sutton's got talent. The guy's a touchdown catcher. He goes up and gets it. I think, you know, with a good quarterback, we would see how good Courtland Sutton really is.
For sure. At number 24, I have Brandon. I'm stuck on the fucking Texans Cooks. He had a great year, a quietly great year. The only thing you could say to kind of oppose that is like who the hell else was the Texans quarterback gonna throw to? Whoever was playing quarterback at that given time, whether that was the draft man, what's his name? I forget his name. The rookie Davis Mills, yeah. Or if it was Tyrod Taylor. They were throwing Brandon Cooks the ball because they had nobody else to throw the ball to. But I would still like to have him on my team. I think he's an explosive weapon. He's got great speed, and he definitely belongs on our list.
At number 24, I also have Brandon Cooks.
Oh, too many
look at us. Cooks in the kitchen. You know, a lot of what you said, but Brandon Cooks, everywhere that he has been, he has played well. I mean, in his time in New England, I didn't love him. I feel like Brandon Cooks' best ability is to flail his arms and fall down on the ground to get a pass interference penalty. But hey, it works, and he is a good route runner. So I think he deserves to be a team's #1 wide receiver.
This man gets passed around like the party blunt. Like, this dude has been on so many teams. All right, number 23. I'm not sure why I closed my list on my phone. We have Terry McLaurin. I think that's how you spell it. He makes me jealous because we have Paris Campbell, and Terry McLaurin, I believe, went to Ohio State as well. And I wish that was the Ohio State receiver that we had, because he's a good, solid receiver, good route runner. He makes good catches. He's just like everything you want as a quarterback and a receiver. And it's unfortunate he's on the Washington Commanders.
We didn't talk about it. I completely forgot. About that.
Yeah. But it's unfortunate he's on the Washington Commanders for multiple reasons. Because it's a terrible name, and because, you know, it's Washington. But yeah, I think he's a great receiver, and he would be a lot better if he had someone decent to throw him the ball.
At number 23, I have the forgotten man, Robert Woods.
Robert lost in the woods.
Everybody thought he was going to have a great year, and I think he got hurt, right? Or he just got overshadowed by Cooper Kupp. I'm pretty sure he got hurt. If he didn't, then I guess this doesn't make sense. But I think he's going to come back. and he's going to be damn good again. And that Rams offense is just going to be, I guess they have Odell Beckham in his absence, but I think he's better than Odell.
I mean, he's such a good addition to that Rams offense. It's hard to not get overshadowed by Cooper Kupp, honestly. I'm gonna put, judging off of like this, like his season, Deontay Johnson, I don't think he's actually better than some of these guys. I just think he had a better season. So I definitely think that they can leapfrog him, but like playing with the corpse of Big Ben, Deontay Johnson had a pretty darn good year, all things considered.
At number 22, I have Adam Thielen myself. Adam Thielen is such a good route runner, and he's such a good all-around receiver, and I feel like he's been underrated his whole career. You know, he's older. I think he has one, maybe two more good years. But I mean, that Vikings receiving core is crazy. But Adam Thielen's really good.
All right, at number 21, we have Hunter Renfrow. I spelled that wrong. Renfrow. Like you said, he just gets into space. He's a great route runner. He makes those underneath catches, and he's not gonna like blow the top off of the defense, but he's gonna kill you with 1,000 cuts. And he's definitely a receiver that like Derek Carr is glad to have. And I think he works well with the tight end. What's Darren Waller. I think he works really well with him. And I feel like sometimes we forget players' names, but like we're not stupid. Like we do watch football. Sometimes there's so many names up there. Sometimes it gets scrambled around. But yeah, that was my number 21.
Number 21, I have Terry Folds McLaurin. You know, a lot of what you were saying about Terry McLaurin, the guy is, I just want to make sure I spell his name right. Hold on. I don't even know if I did. Anyway, the guy he's kind of like Brandon Cooks, but I think a little bit better. He gets open. He's a little bit shorter than most receivers, and he's got good hands. I think he's going to be a pretty good receiver for a while in the NFL.
At number 20, I have Jalen Waddle. He's such a versatile weapon, and he had so many receptions this year. I believe he set the record for receptions from a rookie. Great weapon for Tua, and I think he's going to be even better next year. I think he's going to start having more explosive plays, because this year it was a lot of like death by 1,000 cuts, like Hunter Renfrow. but Jalen Waddle has potential to be, I think, one of the best, maybe top 10 receivers in the NFL if he keeps it up.
At number 20, I have Deontay Johnson. Oh, I don't think I spelled that right. Yeah, it's not C. Deontay. Deontay Johnson. You know, Deontay Johnson, a lot of the Terry McLaurin capabilities there. He's just a good route runner. And I mean, he has a lot of drops, but he has decent hands. I just don't know why he drops so many goddamn passes. That's like his biggest downfall.
He has hands like feet. All right. At number 19, we have my boy, Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman was literally the only receiving threat the Colts had this year, and still put up over 1,000 yards, despite being the focal point of that, besides Jonathan Taylor, besides being the focal point of that offense. So it was pretty easy for defenses to key in on him and double him and stuff. And he still had over 1,000 yards. And he also was playing with Carson. I don't take the easy throws Wentz. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. He made huge strides from his rookie year to this year. I think he's just going to keep getting better. So he's going to sit there at number 19 for me. I'm excited to see what he can do in the future. Hopefully he can become that clear-cut number one receiver, and hopefully he can be one of the best receivers in the NFL, because we sure as hell need it.
At 19, I have Nelson Aguilar. I'm just kidding. DJ Moore.
Oh my God.
DJ Moore. I really like DJ Moore. The guy's just really good at getting open. I feel like they drafted him for Cam Newton because Cam Newton just needed a guy that could get open for him, and Cam could just throw it up to him. I think he's got to leave the Panthers to find success. This is his last year, next year on the contract. And I think he's going to get paid big time. I think he's actually going to have like an Antonio Brown light career. He's kind of the same player. He just doesn't have the same explosiveness as AB has had.
He has a sick ass name too. From DJ to DK Metcalf. Had a bit of a down year. He did not get 1,000 yards, but Russell Wilson missed a few games, and that Seahawks offense was just kind of a mess all year. He's such an explosive, speedy guy. Bit of a head case. He does some stupid things. He gets a lot of dumb penalties, but he's a freak of nature. He's an athlete, and he can do a bit more than just run straight downfield and catch bombs. But that is what he does best.
Number 18, I have.
Oh no, he's gone. What happened?
I don't know. It just kicked me out. Hold on. I have Mr. Jalen Waddle. You know, he's done so many good things in his rookie year already. He set the rookie record for receptions. And I just think as long as they stop shooting themselves in the goddamn foot, the Dolphins are going to have a good offense. We'll see who they hire, though. You know what I mean? If they don't make a stupid hire like the Bears did. But
yeah,
I really like Jalen Waddle.
They should try to hang on to Gesicki too, because
I really like Mike Gesicki. I think he's going to get paid big time in the offseason, though. Guy's got incredible hands.
Yeah, he does.
He actually, his freshman year, maybe it was a sophomore year, one of those two at Penn State. I've never seen somebody drop more passes in my life, in my entire life. And then over one off season, he came out there, and I think I only saw him drop 2, maybe 3 passes the rest of his career. Incredible how much he changed his consistency with catching the ball.
He discovered what Stickum was. At number 17, T. Higgins. Yes, he's a number 2 wide receiver, but I think he could be a number 1 pretty much on most teams. He's such a big-bodied guy. I think I mentioned this in last episode, but I watched a video of like Joe Burrow's top 5 most unlikeliest touchdown passes from this year. T. Higgins was like in 4 of them. Like he just mosses guys. And like, what does Burrow say? Like, fuck it, Jamar Chase is down there somewhere, and he just throws it. Fuck it, T. Higgins is also down there somewhere. So T. Higgins at 17.
They're still going to get smashed by the Chiefs. At number 17, I have Amari Cooper.
Wow.
You know, I still think Amari Cooper is a good receiver. I think he's either going to get cut or traded from the Cowboys. He won't be on them this year. But I think he's going to go to a team and he's going to have a good year.
Perhaps the Patriots.
That would be nice. I don't know if we can afford him, though. I think he's got like $20 million a year contract. So that's a lot. It's a lot to take on.
Indeed. Let's see. We're at 16.
Yeah.
We have AJ Brown at 16. So my thing with AJ Brown is he's so inconsistent. Like he'll either get hurt or he'll just vanish like a ghost and then like randomly pop up and like explode like he did against the Niners. And he was making plays in the Bengals game last week, and it just wasn't enough. But he was like single-handedly carrying that offense at times in that game. But just too often for me, he'll vanish. And I think to be a true top 10, top 15 guy, you need to be there consistently. And he just hasn't done that yet. But maybe he will in the future. It'll be easier for him as long as Julio and himself can stay healthy, because then they can kind of take the pressure off of each other.
Number 16, I have Donkey Kong Metcalf. DK Metcalf, I don't know. I feel like I don't think he's a good receiver, but he makes good plays, and I feel like I got to honor the production like he had early in his career. I think it will come back. But it really feels like it's tied to Russell Wilson sometimes. So if Russell gets traded, I don't know what he's going to be able to do with another quarterback. So we'll see. I still have him at, number 16, which is some pretty high praise.
Yeah. All right. Top 15 now. I've got one that you might not expect, but Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. I was thinking about putting him at 24, and I put freaking Allen Robinson ahead of him.
So my thing with Tyler Lockett is I think he is as reliable as they come. He reminds me a lot of like Reggie Wayne, where he's not a freak of nature. He's not an insane athlete, but the dude just has a knack for getting open. He has a knack for making the big catches and the big moments. And he has a great connection with Russell Wilson. So kind of similar to what you just said about DK. If Russell Wilson leaves Seattle, is Tyler Lockett going to see nearly the same production? Probably not. But as of right now, I think that he's one of those guys you can count on in the big moments. And I'd love to have him on my team. I'd love to have a guy like that opposite Michael Pittman.
At number 15, I have T. Higgins. Man, T. Higgins is so damn good, and I cannot believe that they have him on the other side of Jamar Chase. Yeah. It really is. It's almost unfair, but it hasn't been working out because of that offensive line reset. I mean, it kind of has, but it should be working out better. But the guy can do everything. He gets open. He mosses people, as you said. I'd be very excited to have T. Higgins on my team.
But can he play tackle? All right. Number 14, we have DJ Moore. Pretty much everything you said. He's quietly become a pretty explosive weapon, and he needs to get the hell off of the Panthers. He needs to go somewhere where he can have better quarterback play, because the Panthers are just kind of a shit show. I don't foresee them getting stable at the quarterback position for quite a while. So DJ, you got to go somewhere and catch better footballs from better quarterbacks, man.
At number 14, I don't know if you have him on your list, Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen is such a good receiver. He's been underrated. Watch, he's going to be the next on your list or something. He's been super underrated his whole career, and he's been playing hot and cold. But I just love his game. I feel like at times he dominates games. Yeah,
Keenan Allen I feel like he's been in the league forever. Like it feels like he's been here for. I mean, he has been. I think 2013 he was drafted, but he is not the next person on my list. In fact, it is his teammate, Mike Williams, because Mike Williams, I just love the way that this man is built. He's fast as hell. He's long as hell. And really a lot like T. Higgins. Like, you just throw it up to him. He can jump and make a play. His hands are a bit of a question sometimes, but like, he's got Justin Herbert throwing him the ball, and he makes plays for that man. And he's in my top 13. It's a little questionable of a pick, I know, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
All right. Number 13, I have Calvin Ridley.
Johnson.
Calvin Ridley. Oh man, Calvin Ridley. I mean, we'll see if he plays again. I guess there's a chance he doesn't. But I kind of feel like he might have not wanted to play for the Falcons anymore. And he was like, "Oh, I hate this. This sucks. But if I'm on a better offense and team that actually feels competent, I could play football." And I think that's what's going to happen. But the guy is such an incredible talent. We'll see. I mean, if we traded for Calvin Ridley, that would be incredible. Absolutely incredible, because he's so cheap this year, and we just re-sign him next year. It would be nice, because his contract didn't toll. I don't think he played enough games, so he's still on his rookie contract, not the 5th-year option.
I did not put Calvin Ridley on this list because I think he barely played this year, and he didn't really do anything. So I acknowledge that if he had played, he probably would have been on my list, but I just left him off for that reason. Number 12, we have Mike Williams' teammate, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, there you go. He was on your list.
Yeah, he was. Pretty much everything you said. He's also extremely reliable, great route runner. I think he has a good knowledge of the game, and I've always thought that he was a smaller guy, but I believe he's like over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, actually, the way he plays reminds me a lot of Michael Pittman. I think that's how Michael Pittman's career is going to go.
Pittman's taller though, so he's going to be better. That's what that means. All right.
At number 12, I have Mr. Big Chest Antonio Brown. Look, I understand he's a very mentally ill person. Hey, the Buccaneers, a teammate of Antonio Brown's, reportedly told somebody that the Buccaneers tried paying Antonio Brown $200,000 to get help for his mental illness. And
I thought Antonio Brown said that. I think Antonio Brown said that they wanted.
Brown said that? Oh
he
my
said they
goodness,
wanted.
it has to be true.
They wanted to pay me $200,000 to go to the crazy bin or something like that. That's what he said.
Insane. But the guy, when he's played this year, he's looked absolutely phenomenal. He's a Hall of Famer. I think they're gonna do him dirty, dirtier than T.O. I think he's gonna have to wait like 4 or 5 years. But the man should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I feel like he was playing like it this year until he got hurt. I think Antonio Brown's an incredible receiver.
I also left Antonio Brown off my list because he's not in the NFL right now. He's basically retired, whether he knows it or not. So, but that's understandable. He is a great receiver. He was having a great year as well. At number 11, we have his former teammate, Mike Evans. Mike Evans, even though I do think he's on the decline and has been for a couple years, he's still almost a top 10 receiver. Just the sheer talent this man has is insane. He's 6'4". You throw it up there, he might come down with it 80% of the time. And Tom Brady probably doesn't win that Super Bowl without Mike Evans and a receiver that you will see later on this list on the other side, helping him get down the field routinely.
At number 11, I have Mr. Compact Disc Lamb. We got CD Lamb. You know, CD, I feel like he should have had a better year last year, but I don't know. I feel like Dallas sometimes just you don't know what the fuck they're doing on offense because it's just never working. And it feels like it doesn't work at all, or they're just stomping on opponents, the Cowboys. So it's I don't know. I feel like he's going to have a great rest of his career, especially because I think Amari Cooper is going to be off that team. And I think next year is going to be kind of like his DeAndre Hopkins year, or D-Hop was kind of, he was a good receiver, but all of a sudden he was like a great receiver.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys offense was one of the most baffling offenses I think I've ever seen this year, because like you said, like they either stomped or they looked like they didn't know what football was. And it would just happen from week to week. And it was insane. Like they put 50 on the football team, and then they'd come back and they have a shitty game against the Niners and get eliminated. It's insane. But that's neither here nor there. We have CD Lamb at number 10. I believe in this man's talent so much, and he's already proving it. He's such a great weapon for Dak. And I've always thought it was hilarious how the Cowboys basically took him so that the Eagles wouldn't have him. I love that. That was great.
It really is hilarious. They took freaking Jalen Reagor. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh my God. But yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb has potential to be a top 5 guy. But he is going to need to take it up a notch even from where he's at now.
At number 10, I have Mike Evans. Look, the guy, he's just a touchdown catcher. I feel like especially last year, every single time the Buccaneers got the ball on the 1 or 2 yard line, it was a Mike Evans touchdown. I really think at least 50% of their calls were a fade to Mike Evans at the goal line. It worked so well every time. The guy's incredible. The guy's had an incredible career. He's absolutely a Hall of Famer, and that's why he's in my top 10.
Wouldn't you throw fades to Mike Evans at the 1 yard line? I mean,
absolutely.
It's still a bummer you can't throw fades really in Madden. You think they'd fix that after, forever of not being able to do it. My number 9 receiver is Mike Evans' teammate, Chris. I'm going to make a shit ton of money next year. Godwin. And this man is a god. And you totally called it a few years ago. You were like, listen, he's going to be great. He's going to be amazing. And sure enough, he's such a good receiver. The perfect complement to Mike Evans. And as much as I would love the Colts to sign him, I don't think we're going to, because I don't think our GM values receivers that much, which is unfortunate. And I think he's wrong, but I'd love to have Chris Godwin on my team.
At number 9, I also have Chris Godwin. And
Let's go.
Oh my goodness, watching Chris Godwin play at Penn State, I just knew. Watching him, it was like everything that came his way, he caught. And he was always open. He made big plays for us. I think in the it was either the Big Ten championship game or the Rose Bowl his last year. I think he left his redshirt junior year. I think he had like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's such an incredible player. Wanted him on the Patriots so bad, and the Patriots picked the pick before him and the pick after him. Both players trash. I feel like they both. I never saw the field, and the other one, he was a depth pass rusher, like a deep depth pass rusher. Special teamer, let's just put it that way. And Chris Godwin has been. They didn't even give him a chance at the beginning of his career. They were starting. Who are they starting ahead of him? He's Adam Humphries. They're starting Adam Humphries over Chris Godwin. Give me a break. And Bruce Arians comes in and he says, they got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin? I mean, give me some of that. And he said, Chris Godwin, you're my new Larry Fitzgerald. And Chris Godwin just took it and ran. Man, I really hope that we let JC walk and we sign Chris Godwin, because Chris Godwin is what Mac needs. Chris Godwin is perfect for Mac Jones. And oh my god, if we had Chris Godwin on our team, it would make me so happy. But yeah, he's my number 9. I wouldn't be surprised next year if I'm at number 5 or number 4 when he gets more of a target load.
The Mac Daddy to the God. What a connection. All right. Number 8, we have Stephon Diggs, aka I want to be a linebacker. I'm gonna hit the shit out of this fan. That was so funny, by the way. Like, that fan actually helped the Bills. He gave them more time to think about it. But Stephon Diggs, as soon as he was traded to this Bills offense, I mean, he provided such a great weapon for Josh Allen to take that next step and become what I think is now an elite quarterback. I don't think you can really question that after this season. But Stephon Diggs is a great wide receiver. He got overshadowed by that. What's the guy's name? He caught 4 touchdowns. Gabriel Davis. But still, like, Stephon Diggs. Gabriel Davis may have had the glory in that game, but Stephon Diggs put in the legwork, and he's one of the best receivers in the league. I do think he's just on the outside of like that truly elite cream of the crop tier, but he's definitely a number 1 receiver. And it's insane that he came from the Vikings. The Vikings have had so many good receivers in the last 5-6 years.
Many good receivers. At number 8, I also have Stephon Diggs. I mean, he's so good at almost everything. I don't think he's the best jump ball receiver, but it never matters. You know what I mean? He got that ball against the Saints and he ran it for a touchdown. As you could argue that was bad defense, but he's a very good receiver. And I mean, the only reason it's not a good thing that they traded for him is because they could have had a guy that's much higher on my list that was drafted at that spot.
All righty. Number 7, we have DeAndre Hopkins. And DeAndre Hopkins is undoubtedly one of the best receivers in the league. I do think he had a bit of a down year even before the injury. He did not have a 100-yard receiving game this season, which is insane when you think about it. Especially with how amazing that Cardinals offense was early on. It was just wild that he didn't ever have like really a good game. But nevertheless, he's still phenomenal. I think this is where I would have the cutoff for like the elite of the elite. And DeAndre Hopkins absolutely belongs in that tier. And I'm glad he's not on the Texans anymore.
This is also my cutoff from the elite of the elite, but it's not DeAndre Hopkins leading off. It is AJ Brown. I think AJ Brown is incredible. Yes, he's been hot and cold. Yes, he's been hurt. But the guy is, every time he touches the football, he looks like he's going to score a touchdown. He just looks like it. Kind of like Jamar Chase looks like he's going to score a touchdown every time. Obviously, he's not that good, but AJ Brown is an incredible receiver. Ryan Tannehill's not a bad quarterback, but that offense, they don't utilize him nearly as much as they should. They really don't.
I'm so scared the Titans are going to pull a Chiefs or something and like draft a quarterback this year or something, and he's just going to turn out to be amazing, and then the Colts are going to be fucked. Because the Colts and the Titans are built so similarly. I think it just comes down to whoever gets a better quarterback first is going to take control of this division. But yeah, he's really, I think Tannehill's holding them back, because if you told me that I had Julio Jones and AJ Brown to throw to and Derrick Henry in the backfield, you need to be performing much better than the Titans offense did. Yeah. Yes, there was injuries, but still, they were all there in the playoff game and they still sucked.
Yeah.
All right. At number 6, we have a guy who really came out of nowhere, Deebo Samuel.
Deebo Samuel. I forgot Deebo Samuel on my goddamn list. Oh no. Oh no.
Deebo Samuel is so fucking good.
I'm sorry for you Niners fans.
He can do anything. You want this man to run it like a running back? Sure, he's got you. If he were a running back, this man would probably have rushed for 1,000 yards. You want this man to be your number 1 receiver? He's got you. You want this man to throw a pass or two? He could probably do that too. Deebo Samuel is the Swiss Army knife of the NFL, and he is incredible. And he came out of nowhere. I didn't even know who Deebo Samuel was until like a year ago, but I sure as hell do now.
How did I not put Deebo Samuel on my fucking list? I just forgot him. I had him and then I forgot to put him in. Anyway, let's pretend. I don't know. I would have had him probably at the same spot, but regardless, here we go.
Bill hates Deebo Samuel.
DeAndre Hopkins is my number 6 wide receiver, and DeAndre Hopkins is still incredible. I feel like that the reason why the Cardinals offense and that team kind of changed halfway season is because of DeAndre Hopkins' injury. He does so much, even if he's not catching the ball, just drawing attention.
And he still has the nickname that you gave him a long time ago, Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year.
All right, top 5. Let's go. We have Tyreek. I beat the shit out of my son habitually. Hill. And as much as I dislike him as a person, this man has wheels. This man is probably the fastest player in the NFL, and we saw it in that Bills game where he just turned I think it was a slant, and he took it 60, 70 yards to the house and then waved at a man who was in front of him. Or a peace sign at a man who was in front of him and then passed him and scored. I mean, he's insane. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, but having Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce makes him look even better, and it's just disgusting. It's disgusting.
At number 5, it might be a shock. You might be a little bit low, but I have Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams.
I understand that.
Is incredible. Don't get me wrong. He can do everything right, and he can get targeted 20 times in a game, catch 17 balls for like 300 yards and 4 TDs. He really can if you got a good quarterback throwing on the ball. And that's why he's a top 5 receiver in my books.
Alrighty. At number 4, I have Justin Jefferson. He was so surprising last year. He came out of he was one of the late round receivers taken, I believe. I think they took him at 20-ish, and he was just immediately a top 15, top 10 guy, and he only continued to prove that this year. His stats were incredible. It's unfortunate his teams aren't really playoff bound ever, and that Kirk Cousins is kind of a ceilinged quarterback where I don't think he's gonna do much beyond what he already has. He's not gonna put the team on his back. So I would love to see Justin Jefferson with like a good quarterback. Because Kirk Cousins is solid, but he's not a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And but Justin Jefferson, he reminds me a lot of DeAndre Hopkins, like a younger DeAndre Hopkins, in that regard.
At number 4, I have Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is absolutely phenomenal. He really is, and the only reason I don't have him higher on the list is because I believe the guys ahead of him are truly next season will become game-changing players if they aren't. And it's not that Cooper Kupp isn't a game-changing player, because he absolutely is, but and why am I trying to say bad things about Cooper Kupp? Never mind. He's incredible. He does everything right, and anybody would be happy to have Cooper Kupp on their team.
All right, at numero trace, we have Jamar. I'm faster than you. Deal with it, bitch. Chase. I mean, we both you primarily called it, but then like after like one game of the regular season, I was like, oh, this guy's already a top 5 receiver. But like, you were absolutely right. Jamar Chase is fucking incredible. He makes plays no one else can, and it's Joe Burrow has to thank his lucky stars every night that he's got Jamar Chase on his team, because he can do it all. I don't think there's a damn thing he's bad at. And he's a rookie receiver, and he's already in our top 3. I mean, that's insane. That's insane.
It really is insane. Number 3, I have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a player that comes along maybe once every 2 generations, maybe once ever in the NFL. He is so fast on the field. His on-field speed, it is absolutely incredible how fast he is, and all the time he's that fast. And it's like just the things you can do on your offense with Tyreek Hill, you can't do with other offenses, just because he's that special of a player. And of course they have the best quarterback in the NFL, the guy that can throw it probably 100 yards, probably from the back of the end zone. He could throw a touchdown to the other back of the end zone if he really wanted to. It's just, he's so good. And I think he's going to be good for a while too on the Chiefs.
Oh, I sure hope not. All right, number 2, we have Davante Adams. I do think Jamar Chase can eventually pass him up, and I think he will. But as of right now, which is kind of how I formulated my list, I think we kind of approached this with 2 different mentalities, which is totally fine. It makes it more interesting. But like as of right now,
who's Deebo Samuel?
I don't even know who you are. Davante Adams is an incredible receiver, and he had a lot of problems earlier in his career with the drops and whatnot, but he's really coming to his own. I think Aaron Rodgers said he's the best player that Aaron Rodgers has ever played with, which is high praise, because Aaron Rodgers has played with some great receivers and just players in general. But Davante Adams, he's also in that Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Hopkins mold in my mind, where he's a possession receiver, but he's also long enough to be able to jump and get you a ball if you need him to. And very versatile, and a free agent. So we're gonna have to see where he ends up. Someone's gonna pay that man.
Do you think he's gonna? Do you think it's gonna be $30 million a year? Do you think he could do that?
That's so much money for a non-quarterback.
So much money, but the caps is supposed to explode in 2023, so you can just push it off.
Who has the highest current? Do you know who's the highest paid receiver right now?
I don't know, but I think it's around $23 million a year.
It's DeAndre Hopkins. He's averaging $27 million a year. So that's
DeAndre Hopkins at 27. Yeah. He's absolutely, he might get 33, 34. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. Wow. Maybe the Jaguars go get him. Could you imagine if Trevor Lawrence just stomps on you because he has Davante Adams? That would be with Byron Leftwich making the calls. Oh man, that'd be terrible for you guys.
I don't want to talk about that possibility. All right. Who's your number 2?
My number 2 is Jamar Chase. Look, Jamar Chase, after like 5-6 games, has me convinced that he is going to be the second greatest receiver that's ever lived. He's so good at everything. He's so fast, and he's so deceptively fast. It's like, oh, there's no way he's going to get past them. Runs past them with ease. Kind of like when you watched Randy Moss play, like in his old Vikings highlights, or it's just like running past guys. And he doesn't have Tyreek Hill speed, but he has deceptively fast speed. He might be the second fastest receiver in the league, at least playing speed. I think he's incredible. I think next year he's going to be even better. And I mean, who better to throw him the ball than Joe Burrow? The guy that threw him the ball in college, right?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
exactly. And he looks
it's crazy
so
that Joe
damn.
Burrow will probably have Jamar Chase for every single year that he's started in college and the NFL, except for his rookie year.
Yeah, it is. And
He'll probably have him his entire career.
He looks so cool in the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals uniforms are cool anyways, but like Jamar Chase looks so slick in that uniform.
Yeah, his hair looks super cool under a helmet.
All right, number 1, we have Paris, the Glass Man Campbell. It's Cooper Kupp. He almost had 2,000 yards receiving this year. It's fucking insane. I knew he was good. Like, I always believed in Cooper Kupp, even when he was injured a couple years ago. I didn't think he'd ever be this good. I thought he would be like what Hunter Renfrow is, but Cooper Kupp is incredible. He does everything. He's also a Swiss Army knife kind of guy. He just gets open. I mean, we saw it in the game last weekend. Yeah. At the end of the game, he just gets wide the fuck open, and they know, the Buccaneers know that he's their biggest threat, and that there's nothing they could do about it. He still just gets open. And goddamn, is Cooper Kupp. This was shocking. Like, if you had shown me this list last year, I would have been like, Jesus, what happened? Did he did he just like catch fire literally? And
that's a fucking record. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible. All right, my number 1 is Justin El Jefe Jefferson. Justin Jefferson. I mean, I think Jamar Chase is going to surpass him, but I really think it's going to be him, Jamar Chase, and AJ Brown as the best receivers in the league for the next 5-7 years. I think all of them are incredibly good, and I just think Justin Jefferson is better than AJ Brown, but he won't be Jamar Chase. But Justin Jefferson right now is the best receiver in the league. He really is. The guy has abnormally long legs. He really does. If you look at him, his legs are so much longer than his torso. Like, it just disproportionately. And I really think that gives him the ability to make cuts better, to just be more agile. And that's what he shows. He's so good. And he's so good at catching contested passes too, getting open. And I can't tell you how many times I watched the Vikings and it was like Kirk flung a 60-yard pass and there was Justin Jefferson wide open, ready to catch it. He's so good, and I'm excited to watch him in his career.
And freaking Joe Burrow, I mean, the LSU had Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Like, and there's 1 and 2 on my list. That's absolutely incredible. Oh my god, that team was stacked.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like, no wonder they won the championship. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. Could you imagine if the Bengals had somehow gotten their hands on, like, if they had an extra first-round pick last year and they'd somehow drafted Justin Jefferson, Joe Burrow, and then this year they grabbed fucking Jamar Chase? They'd be. Could you
imagine if they got like a Chase Claypool last year too, and they had him? That would just be oh my goodness,
an embarrassment of riches. Like, Jesus Christ. All right, well, those are our rankings. If you want to see them again, they're right here. But obviously, we left out a lot of other starting receivers, but 64 is too many. We'd still be doing this for like another hour. So that's all we have for you this week, folks. I am Zach.
And I'm Bill.
And enjoy the conference championships. We'll see you next time.